Meanwhile in the pod cave.
And welcome back to another edition of the Podmen. I'm Brad.
I'm Brian.
I'm Podman Ron.
All right, and we had a little trouble getting started here, so this is our second take. Hopefully, we've got all the computer equipment and harassed the engineer, so I think we're okay to go here, boys. But I know one of the things, Podman Ron, that you're excited to talk about is the new season of Cobra Kai, but the problem is it hasn't come out yet.
That's correct, Brad. September 9th, it's coming up on Netflix. Hoping that it'll release a week early, but
now wait a minute. So they Brian is shaking his head for some reason. Brian, why are you shaking your head, buddy?
They released it early because it was going to come out on New Year's Day. Like that was the whole thing. Was people on vacation? It's a holiday. They released it last year on early because it was New Year's Day.
What do you want to ruin my little bit of?
I mean, they've stated when season 5 is going to happen. Podman Ron's just hoping that someone along the line will say, you know what?
Screws up.
We're going to give it to them a week early. We know the people want it. Yeah, okay. I love that positive attitude, PMR.
Because everybody loves Cobra Kai. I mean. So, in anticipation of it, I rewatched season 4.
Yeah.
Brian's having to hear this again.
Just season 4.
And it was just season 4. And, man, I had forgotten how good that show was.
The writing.
How good season 4 was. The writing.
The acting.
The characters.
Acting,
good.
The music.
Fights.
The fighting. Choreography, yeah.
They had Carrie Underwood this year do a cover for Survivor's Moment of Truth. I mean,
are we really going to start the podcast with like the recap of season 4?
This was a long intro.
12 months ago.
It was only 8 months ago, and yes, we are because the show really is
so
like,
good. But is it?
I mean, but it's anybody out there who has not watched this show. I don't understand why. It's just. But I went through this whole season, 10 episodes.
Yeah, just like that in one day.
2 days.
2 days. Wow.
2 days.
I would argue. I would not. I might have been drunk on one of those. I enjoy it. But I enjoy this show more than I should, probably. I enjoy this show a lot. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's good.
It's entertaining.
What are you talking about?
It's entertaining.
I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between those as we continue on. This is like episode 180, 81, or 82 here, and we still barely understand the Podman ratings. But we should differentiate whether something is entertaining or well made.
No.
Or somewhere in between is good. I don't know.
These episodes go by so quick because you're wrapped up into them. I mean, it's like
just like an episode.
This episode's already over with, and then that's when you go to another one because it's like I gotta watch the next one.
You're gonna love dementia.
Whoa! What was that? Hey.
What just happened? I was just asleep.
I'll have another coffee.
Like, how did I get here?
I had a coffee already.
And
all right, well,
and I just watched the preview for season 5.
Oh,
and it looks
which we talked about last episode.
Dutch is back. We were talking about Dutch being back.
Dementia.
Dutch from the original Karate Kid.
Who?
Dutch. Chad McQueen, Steve McQueen's son.
Didn't we talk about him last week?
The bleach blonde guy, bad guy. You know, they made mention of him that he's in prison. Well, it looks like he's maybe back.
Somebody sprung him. All right. Well, that's exciting. That's great. Exciting. That's exciting old news. So, Brian, speaking of news, Brian. All right, Brian.
So I guess we're done with the Cobra Kai.
Yeah, we're done with the Cobra Kai recap, I think.
Are we done with
Budman Ron's checking out.
Right, you know, I mean...
You're going to have to play the news bumper again because he's still trying to bring back Cobra Kai.
Well, I mean, I didn't know we were done with it, but all right.
I guess we're through.
No, I guess we're done with Cobra Kai.
I didn't even talk about episode 8 of season 4.
I don't know what we're going to talk about now.
Yeah. So we got, speaking of a Netflix program, we got it's going to be a wait, PMR. Did you see the release date for season 5 of Stranger Things?
No.
2024.
Hell, I may be dead by 2024.
Yeah, that's too long. Way too long.
That's too long, man. They got to get this shit out quicker now. You know, I'm in that age where...
Or it just doesn't matter. You'll miss it. You'll be okay in the afterlife, in the upside down. You'll be all right.
I'd like to see how it ends. I'd like to see how it ends.
Do you really? I mean, think about it. I've
invested a lot of time in this show, you know?
Yeah, but from 2 years from now,
sadly
will you really care about it? Or will you say, look at that?
I did because I watched this last season.
But I'm just saying 2 years from now, you're going to be closer to 60 than anything.
Oh, fuck that. No.
Are you really going to be like, oh my God, thank God, the new season of Stranger Things is coming out. I hope they release it a week early. Or are you going to be like, this new season of Stranger Things is coming out. All right, got to take my blood pressure.
I got to go to the doctor.
I'm going to miss it because I got to go to the doctor. It comes on at 8 o'clock.
I gotta get it.
But they also released a poster. Did you guys see the poster? Because it's the tagline is Hawkins will fall. Okay. And Brad, I think this would be right up your alley. There's it shows the cracks and they're all kind of standing in that meadow that we saw at the end of season 4.
Yeah.
But there's a monster coming out of the ground and it looks like
a giant?
No, it looks like the three-headed King Ghidorah. It looks like King Ghidorah coming out of the ground.
Wow. All right. A new monster.
A three-headed dragon.
Hold us over for 2 years. I love it.
So, yeah. So 2024, it's going to be a long, and it's probably not going to be January, February. I would assume it's probably going to be summer. That seems to be the last few seasons have been summer. So we got 23 months. We got to wait. So
got something to live for a little bit longer. I can hold out a little bit longer.
Just hold on a little longer.
Come on.
Not to meet your grandkids.
No.
Or just like
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things season 5. Now I can die.
I'm good.
I'm a happy man. All right. Well,
all right.
We'll see if what that brings for 2 years.
I don't know if I should drop this one now or later on, but I'll go ahead and drop it now. Ezra Miller is seeking treatment for complex mental health issues.
Very complex mental health issues.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
So that was one of the options. I think that's what Warner Brothers was hoping for. That was their best case scenario. Was he doesn't get arrested. There's no police standoff. He actually goes into some sort of mental health facility.
That would have been a good one. The standoff.
Then he could come out and make his apology, congratulatory. Here's my movie.
What's funny is
release.
Alex said on the last podcast that Warner Brothers, that was one of the things Warner Brothers said for him to do is to make an apology,
right.
And that's what he did. He came out and made that half-ass apology. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm crazy.
We've got Superman and Lois. We've got some shakeup in the cast.
That. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, so Jordan Elsass, who plays what's weird, he plays Jonathan Kent, not Jordan Kent, but his name is Jordan.
Oh,
yeah, it's kind of weird.
But yeah, he plays Jonathan, which is the twin without superpowers. Unlike the comic, there's only one kid. It's Jonathan, and he has the superpowers. But yeah, Jonathan, the actor that plays Jonathan, is leaving Superman and Lois ahead of season 3. They're going to recast the character.
He's had enough of that shit. He's going to go off and make movies, I guess, right?
I guess so. Of the between the two kids, or all the kids on the show, he's the most talented. You can tell he's the one
really?
that's got a career ahead of him.
He's got chops. He's got moxie.
Yeah.
I will say that I was going to talk about Lois and Superman and Lois. That this, although I really do like the show, this kind of ended kind of weak this season. I didn't like any of the Bizarro shit. It was kind of lame. It was really bad. But,
it went from you didn't like it to really
I still like the show, and I still like all the characters. But I hope they do a little bit better next year with it. You know, I thought they carried the Bizarro stuff on way too long, and it just didn't land right at all. It was just kind of stupid.
Well, and along those lines, they've said that it is coming back for season 3. Flash is ending, but apparently Warner Brothers and CW, Warner Brothers will continue to make content for the CW. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know if there'll be any superhero content, but they will continue to make content for the CW. So I don't know. Riverdale's getting canceled. All the Flash stuff is canceled. I wonder what that's going to look like. If it's going to just be.
I would like for them to keep Stargirl, and I'd like for them to keep Superman and Lois. I mean, both of those are really good shows.
We are getting another season of Stargirl, I think, sometime in September. So it's
usually during the summer months when it comes out. I'm surprised it hadn't come out late so far, but
yeah, it's coming back with like a fall premiere, but it's still a short season from what I understand.
That's a good show.
Yeah. Let's see. We have got an announcement. I kind of mentioned this a few weeks ago, or not a few weeks, a couple months back. When I went to MegaCon, I talked to Jim Shooter, right? Pretty extensively, 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, we don't need to recap that episode, Brian. I mean, we're getting.
But he mentioned something. He mentioned something that seems to be coming to fruition.
Really is a flashback.
He mentioned, because I was talking to him about, any sort of viable competition for, creating a book that works more like the 80s, like having a line of comics that works more like the 80s or kind of, Marvel or more likely DC going back. And we talked about doing like 12 volumes and then having the story wrap up in the annual, the giant size annual at the end of the year. And he said, that he was too old to get back into all that stuff. But if there was anybody that had the clout and the connections to do it, it would be Frank Miller. Frank Miller was at MegaCon. So you got to think Frank Miller. Yeah, I know. Frank Miller, Sin City, 300, all those books that he's done that have turned into movies. I mean, hell, they let him direct the Spirit movie, right?
Yeah. They wish they wouldn't have, but yeah, they did.
And who else was at MegaCon was Dan Didio. So there was an announcement this week that Frank Miller and Dan Didio are going to start a comic book company, a comic book imprint.
Oh boy.
Later, I guess they're going to start solicitations sometime. There's an ash can that's releasing this week, and then sometime after the first of the year, the book will start to release and come out. But you got to think, if he's got Dan Didio as editor-in-chief and Frank Miller as the talent, he could easily bring other talent onto the line and start producing stuff. So it's pretty interesting. It was kind of like out of left field when Shooter mentioned it, and then here it is, 6 weeks later, there's a press release that it's actually happening.
He probably knew that it was happening.
Yeah, because, you got to think Shooter was at MegaCon, Miller was at MegaCon, and Didio was at MegaCon. So I'm sure that it was they kind of linked it.
And Brian was at MegaCon.
You guys,
and I was at MegaCon.
Yeah, there's a connection.
Yep.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you honestly think that in today's market that a new comic book company could even prosper? I mean, survive?
Tough, right? I mean, not in physical media, right? I mean, everything would have to be digital.
Well, it's not only that, but do you not think they just do this so they could sell these books to these studios to try to make a Netflix series? I mean, I think that's basically the business plan for comic books these days is to try to get you a comic book going for a couple of issues, try to get it popular, and then sell it to a studio.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Well, do you know what they've teased is going to be the first, or is going to be one of the first books out, or what Miller's going to be working on for the imprint? Ronin 2. So he's going to make a sequel to Ronin. But to your point, PMR, right? To your point, if they make a sequel,
no one other than anybody under 40 will remember fucking Ronin, and no one over 40 liked fucking Ronin. So.
He's totally playing to the 40-year-old, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know who he's trying to
impress.
Buy that shitty book.
Who are you trying to impress there?
Well, think about this though. All right, the imprint's called Frank Miller Presents, right?
Already,
so it could be Frank Miller Presents, and then whatever subtitle or whatever a story arc, whatever.
Right.
But if he's doing Ronin 2, right? If he wanted to sell that as a movie property, now it's more attractive, or sell it as a season of a TV show, because now he's got 2 volumes of it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's kind of where this is all leading towards is we do the book, we'll make some money on the book, but eventually this will be a property that's in Hollywood, and maybe they'll let me direct it. So.
I mean, coming out with Frank Miller present, it reminds me of Stan Lee presents Stripperella. I mean, that's kind of where my head goes.
You remember that?
Hey
now, I remember that, of course.
Sometimes Seinfeld had it right. You kind of got to go out on top, and I think Frank Miller needs just to go out when he was on top instead of just trying to put this stuff together.
Well, when he did the Dark Knight, what was it?
The goddamn Batman?
Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises, and then he did the Dark Knight, where it was Superman and the Nazis and all that stuff.
Super race or whatever.
Yeah, it just went on forever, and it was not great.
No.
So, but other than that, I can talk about this and what you're looking at. A big story. PMR posted this one, not even me, but he posted it, and this text was, Brian and Alex can go ahead and say, I told you so.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Do you want to?
No, you go ahead.
All right. So a source, a reputable source at our trusted, proven source has let us know that Marvel is looking for a new actor to replace Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. And someone in their 20s or 30s to play a younger version of Stark from another universe. The younger Iron Man will appear in 2 upcoming event films, Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars.
And let me just say this for all people out there that do not remember the debacle of the young Tony Stark from the 90s. That flopped big time back in the 90s, where they killed off, in the comic book, they killed off the old Tony Stark, and they went through time, which is what we're dealing with right now with Kang. It was the same storyline. It was a Kang storyline.
Oh, wow.
And they went through time. It was called The Crossing. And they went through time, and they pulled a young Tony Stark out of the timeline and brought him back to their timeline in order to save the world. And so the Marvel Universe, for a good 6 months to, I don't even think it was a year, had a young teenage Tony Stark. And people fucking hated it. That was so bad.
That was a part of like a line-wide like reshuffling, right? Because at that point you had Thunderstrike was Thor. That was when they introduced Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, and then eventually said he was the original Spider-Man. And you de-aged Tony Stark. The
storyline was so bad.
Well, Tony was a bad guy. Didn't he kill Yellow Jacket or something?
He killed the female Yellow Jacket. He killed one of the Inhumans, the nanny to Quicksilver and Crystal's daughter. He killed her and
Bova?
killed another character that was in his own book. Killed like a executive in his own book, and then it turned out that he was being, he was working for Kang, and then he died, and that's when they brought in young Tony Stark. But then they and during that whole storyline also, they introduced Wanda and Vision's kids, and they were not Billy and Tommy. They were these two, Malachi and somebody else, and they were being raised by Kang and all that. So that storyline was so bad, they completely wiped it out and said it was all a bunch of space phantoms impersonating all these people. It was pretty bad. So my hopes of this, it sounds like it's going around the same, it's got Kang in it. They're bringing in a young Tony Stark. It seems like they're going to do something like that, pull a young Tony Stark from the timeline.
But they kind of have to, like Brian said. I mean, they have no choice to do it. They absolutely 1,000% have to.
Already.
Well, that's what me and Alex said on the last podcast. Is that it was definitely happening. You disagree that you disagree that it's happening or that it has to happen?
I refuse to believe it.
No, I disagree that it has to happen. I don't think that. I think you're going backwards, bringing another Tony Stark. No one wants to see that.
The future ain't too bright for Marvel. Like who else have you got that's going to be that caliber of a character?
She-Hulk. You haven't even hit any of the Fantastic Fours yet. I mean, and in what caliber? I mean, it was Robert Downey Jr. that brought Tony Stark to life. I mean, he was a third-tier character at best back in the.
I disagree with that. Like I love.
He wasn't number one. Definitely, he's not.
No,
my favorite Marvel book. I read all DC's.
Dullard. He was. Tony Stark was a dullard until Robert Downey Jr. played the part and gave him a personality, and then they ran with it in the comic book. So
the Bob Layton Iron Man stories.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you're right. Yeah, those are great.
Flip, flip.
I'm not saying just because I say those are great, that doesn't mean I think Tony Stark was interesting.
Again, we got to define entertaining and great, and
This week, playing the role of Absolute Alex, PMR.
Tony Stark's a dullard. Oh, I love those Bob Layton.
I love it. I love those.
Bob Layton stuff was good. That doesn't mean that Tony Stark was good in it.
What are you talking about? Oh my God, he's all over those.
The Silver Centurion was fantastic. All right, so I mean,
the Mach 6 armor, all that stuff.
That's not saying Tony.
I did
Stark
love those armors.
Cool.
In the 80s.
That's not saying Tony Stark was played like Robert Downey Jr. played him, or how they write him now.
But they didn't. No. But that was when it was
Demon in a Bottle.
Demon in a Bottle, and then oh my God, the Armor Wars.
Yeah,
good stuff.
So boring.
That's all great stuff. That's like the best Iron Man storylines.
Dullard though back then. So.
Oh my God. All right, Camelot, or was it Camelot 2020?
Yeah.
Or no, it's not Camelot. It's
the
Iron Man 2020
what?
Iron Man 2020. Yeah, that was good, but. Again.
All right. Well.
Anyway, I say that they have no choice. Marvel has no choice. Theatrical-wise, other than to bring back Captain America, Thor, and
why are you going to bring back all these people? I mean, you have
3 out of 4 podmen agree
they got nowhere else to.
Have not touched the Fantastic Four. You have not touched any of Silver Surfer, Galactus, X-Men. You have a shitload to do. I mean, so you're going to go back and
I'm saying that I wanted to. But they're Fantastic Four is going to come out right after Stranger Things in 2024. I mean,
no, that's true.
So I don't know.
Well, and so, but to your, you'll have, if you don't want to have an Avengers movie, fine, move to X-Men, move to Fantastic Four, and then shelf the Avengers.
Iron Man has been in the Avengers like half of the lifetime of the Avengers. He's not always been an Avenger. I mean, there's been long run 50, 70 issues without Iron Man as
moviegoers don't know that.
I don't think you've thought this through, right? So, if you leave Thor, Iron Man, Captain America out, and you put together an Avengers movie, who would be on that Avengers team?
Okay, let's see. Well, we've got. I mean, to make it interesting, I would put people that you put Black Knight on there. That's one. We don't know anything about. He's an Avenger. I mean, he's been an Avenger since the 60s.
You're right.
I mean,
he wore a jacket in the 90s.
I mean, I'd like to see how he interacts with, put Moon Knight. Moon Knight was an Avenger back in the late 80s and the 90s. I mean, put Moon Knight on the team. I mean, you throw Doctor Strange in there still.
Dr.
Spider-Man's
Druid,
still on there.
Put Dr. Druid and Crystal in there.
You got She-Hulk now. Throw She-Hulk on the team.
No doubt.
She's been an Avenger since the 80s. I mean, The Avengers is a shitload of.
Yes, I understand, but let's say
Brian has read a Marvel comic or two. He understands PMR.
You get a trailer with She-Hulk, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Blade,
and the Black Knight, and Blade.
The Black Knight.
Okay.
Does that look like an Avengers team anybody wants to go see?
Well, no one even knew who the fuck Avengers were like in 2011.
Fair. That's a fair point. That's a very fair point.
But my point is, everybody you just listed, none of them are the caliber of Iron Man or Captain America.
Now they're
have you not seen Eternals?
They are not now, but Captain America and Iron Man and all them weren't of the caliber either until they started getting their own movies.
Iron Man has been continuously in print since the 60s.
Okay.
But dull.
But how many people fucking knew anything about Iron Man?
My point is, he's been that character has like a following. You say he's boring. He does.
He has a following, but you're saying that you're comparing Iron Man like he was a Spider-Man character or like he was a Batman or a Superman.
Like the world knew who Iron Man was. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. You probably got about 30 to 40% of people knew who the fuck Iron Man was. I mean.
Do we not remember when the Iron Man trailer launched at Comic-Con? And
a bunch of nerds.
It launched to a bunch of geeks. I mean,
it launched to a bunch of geeks.
Tony Stark was a millionaire.
They know who he was.
Yeah. All right, so
you're trying to tell me? Hold on a minute. You're trying to tell me that Iron Man is of the same caliber as Superman or Batman or Spider-Man?
No. Not quite. I mean, you have to say not quite.
Maybe not. Not quite. But
back then,
he's not. No, see, back then, I disagree. When I read, like, the only comic I read. Right. Okay. The only Marvel comic I read in the 80s was Iron Man, and it was Demon in a Bottle, Armor Wars, all that. That's what pulled me into the Marvel universe. Was Iron Man, not Spider-Man, nothing else. It was Iron Man. Like, Iron Man DC has got Superman and Batman. Marvel has Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. That is their big four. So you're saying Spider-Man's not going to be in the Avengers, and the other three of the big four, I don't want to see him again. Give me more Black Knight. That's crazy. That's like ludicrous.
You're acting like Iron Man is like this huge thing back then.
Across the world.
All I'm saying is if you put together a team based on what they've been trying to put together on Disney Plus, and you just you have these characters they're introducing, and then you put them in a movie, then people come see it. I mean, it's Marvel. They've seen these.
I don't know.
I'm just saying. I mean, I could be wrong. I very well be wrong. But y'all, you're acting like Iron Man was this like, oh my God, everybody knew who Iron Man was. Like he was like the Batman and the Superman. But
he's Marvel's Batman.
Even if you read articles about the thing back then, about when Marvel did that, they knew it was a risk even doing it. But the only reason they used Iron Man is because they had, sold off all their other fucking properties. They'd sold Hulk to Universal. They sold Fantastic Four, I think, to Universal. And they sold Spider-Man to Sony. So they didn't have anything. So they were really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Which, guess what?
Iron Man sitting at the bottom of the barrel.
And Thor. That's all. And you know why? Why didn't Sony scoop up Iron Man? Or why didn't Universal scoop up Iron Man?
Because nobody wanted his ass.
Because nobody wanted to see that shit.
Yeah.
So that's all they had left. So, when you think of Marvel back in the day, you think of Hulk, you think of Fantastic Four, and you think of Spider-Man. I could be wrong, but honest to God, I would rather see an Avenger team of these different characters. I've already seen Thor and Iron Man and all them. I don't want to see them again. I mean, how many times we got to see Thor, Iron Man, and all them interact? I
don't know.
How long have you read the Avengers comic book?
Since I was 7 years old.
And of that time, how often were Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor members of the team?
Always one of them.
Not as much as you would think.
More than 60% of the time?
Captain America probably was. Iron Man probably was not. Probably, yeah, because you got to think. Iron Man has been in the past 15 years since they've rebooted it. Well, honestly, since the movies came out.
Iron Man, when Kurt Busey,
movies, but
Iron Man has been in the Avengers since Busey relaunched it in the late 90s.
No, there was a stint that he was not in it.
12 issues. So
more than 12.
But your argument is, how many times do I have to see these people interact with each other? You've been reading the same comic book.
I know, but in between that, I have seen
there was Dr. Druid.
In 3 or 4 years, there were different people coming.
And how many times do you bitch about when it's when the comic has turned to Dr. Druid and Doctor Strange and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage?
I disagree. I've often said, even on this podcast, that there was a stint in the 90s. That
I think you have said that.
Cersei, Black Widow, Cersei, Black Widow, Hercules, Black Knight, Captain Marvel, our Photon. That I like that stint. It was a good run, and it's the ones where they wore the jackets. I love the jackets.
He loves the jacket.
But besides that, it was Steve Epting did the art. It was a great run. It was just a different interaction. I mean, Captain America was on the team for like a few issues. But he quit. So, there's been runs that I've liked without them. I mean, my favorite run, of course, is the Perez runs of, the Perez Busiak and the Perez from the Jim Shooter Perez back in the 70s. But that run in the 90s was pretty good. So,
well, to continue this story.
Let me just say this, and then I'll let you continue. I have seen 3-4 Avengers movie with the same people. I would not be opposed to seeing different characters interact as an Avengers team, because the Avengers in the comic book, it's the old order changeth. That's what they always said. It's members come in and out.
Right.
So I wouldn't mind seeing different members in the team. It just makes it a little bit more interesting.
Fair enough.
So a part of this, we can't have any of these types of announcements without people trying to fan cast characters. And so now everyone wants to cast young Tony Stark as, would you like to guess who the flavor of the month is?
I think it's that kid from, is it Mike from Stranger Things?
That's
no, it's
the long-haired kid.
It's the long hair. It's Eddie, was it Eddie Munson?
You're right. I did say that, yeah.
Joseph Quinn, which...
I didn't look like him. I saw that picture side by side.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a saddlebag sort of face. So maybe.
But does he have the chops? You got to have the moxie. That's the problem.
I'll tell you who I think would have the chops would probably be Joe Carey. Steve could probably play young Tony Stark. If you're wanting to go.
If you want to go with the Stranger Things.
Things. If you absolutely have to cast somebody from Stranger Things.
You have to. They got a couple of years.
That's all anybody cares about anymore. All right, so we've beaten that horse completely to death.
Yeah.
Last story,
okay.
And this is a goodie.
And now
this is a goodie.
Get to Cobra Kai.
Gary Busey charged with criminal sexual contact during Monster Mania convention in New Jersey.
Oh my goodness! Somebody setting him up.
Here's my concern with that. Other than it's Gary Busey, my concern at that is eventually these celebrities are not going to want to take a picture with people anymore, because
even for $100,
all about me. I'm turning it all about me.
I like. We haven't even gotten to the meat of the story, and his gut is he's team Gary Busey.
I'm not team Gary Busey. I am not. I'm just saying.
You people need to keep quiet, or I'm never going to get my picture with Kevin Smith. PMR, you got your Stan Lee and Bill Shatner. I mean, what more do you want?
I know, but now you gotta, these
people just fucking up your shit.
They're not gonna want to take a picture.
Yeah.
They're gonna stand 3 feet away from you and have someone in there the whole time because they're scared that
might as well just Photoshop
You're going to claim that they peached your ass or something.
So is that what happened here, Brian?
Yeah, let's Monster Mania. Here's the meat of the article. Monster Mania is hosted annually in the town, and this year's gathering invited the Point Break star to its autograph room for all 3 days of the event.
The Point Break star.
Was he all Point Break?
Yeah, he was Johnny Utah's partner. Anyway,
why did he do Lethal Weapon star? That's where he's famous.
I don't know.
Really?
So he was there for all 3 days of the event.
Okay.
The 78-year-old actor has appeared at the fest before. Here's the quote from Cherry Hill Township Police Lieutenant Robert Schoenman. It was about contact. It was about touching. The story notes that officers received multiple complaints about Gary Busey.
I mean, come on. He's 78 years old.
Yeah, he's just an old man playing ass grabs.
He's got handsy. I mean, come on,
man.
Come on. When can some old man can't get a little handsy with some young thing? I mean, come on. Man, my old age is not going to be any fun at all.
Yeah, your old age. You're just waiting for stranger things to happen.
I was promised when I got old I could get handsy with young females. But no. Now they're going to fucking charge
Call me Grandpa PMR.
You want to sit on Peepaw's lap?
Come sit on PMR's lap.
Sugar,
I used to do a podcast.
Now you got to worry about, you got a grandpa now, going to get arrested.
Ride a little horsey.
You can't go. You can't just go, hey, little girl.
Yeah. Oh, you make the best coffee.
You can't flirt with the waitress.
Give you my stir. It's no fun. You're right about that.
In the world, man.
Yeah, the world's going to hell because of Gary Busey.
Yeah, what are people thinking?
Gary Busey's probably all his life he's done that at conventions and all of a sudden.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Time's up. All of a sudden, time's up.
Like D would say, time's up. Time's up, time's up, time's up.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad we're reviewing She-Hulk.
Well, I'm just concerned now that if I do go to Dragon Con, I can't take a picture with anybody because
you can't grab anybody.
You'll have to sign a release form. You'll have to.
I was hoping that William Shatner would grab my ass for the next one, but goddamn,
give her a squeeze.
I'm too scared.
I, the undersigned, allow Ralph Macchio to slap my ass cheeks if I'm paying $100 to get his picture.
I mean,
all right.
I know, right?
Well, that's horrible.
Hey, is Ralph Macchio going to be in Dragon Con?
I know he's not. No? I thought he was.
No, that was MegaCon.
Oh.
Brad, you going to be at Dragon Con?
No way.
Come on, Brad.
I'm probably going to go to Japan Fest.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I figure I got a good shot of finding some Godzilla figures at Japan Fest. Not good.
And just a friendly reminder, Sylvester Stallone's Samaritan is coming out on Amazon Prime this week on the 26th.
Excellent. It looks like another.
Does look interesting. Yeah.
Looks like another winner. All right. Well, let's move on to. I think we probably had a few deaths, but
Werner Herzog.
Who?
Did he really?
No, not Werner Herzog. Oh my God.
I was going to say, wow, I missed that one.
No, Wolfgang Petersen.
Oh, okay. Well, should I even go to? I guess I'll play the music for Wolfgang Petersen.
Well, his families probably want some type of respect shout out from us.
Yeah, well, because they know that we give that respect to people when they pass on.
Their listeners, yeah.
Nichelle Nichols' family still filing that lawsuit, I think, but against the Podman. Brian and I are trying to get rid of names to stricken from the record, but that's okay.
Technically, there's only one of us that identifies as a Podman.
That's true.
It's a PMR.
Yeah,
you're Brad. I'm Brian.
Yeah,
we're just here for Podman Ron.
Yeah,
can't be a lawsuit if it's the truth, and I'm just saying.
All right. Well, Wolfgang Petersen directed Das Boot, I think, Brian.
Yeah, Das Boot, Air Force One. From the 90s, and he also Poseidon. We talked about that just a few weeks ago, like that remake of the
Poseidon Adventure.
Poseidon Adventure. In the Line of Fire, The Never-Ending Story.
I didn't know he directed that. Everything goes back
Outbreak.
Ooh, Outbreak. I like that movie. That was a good movie.
And oh wait, there's one I'm missing. There was another pretty good one.
Well, he'll be missed.
Was a pretty good one. Troy. Do you remember that Troy movie from like the early 2000s?
Wasn't that with Angelina Jolie and she was topless?
No, that was 300, and it was
no, that was Beowulf. The animated
was it Beowulf?
CGI Beowulf. That
was during that time in the 2000s.
Yeah, but it was a CGI version.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I was thinking about 300 with Lena Headey.
Yeah, and Troy had Brad Pitt, and he was topless, if I recall.
Yeah, he was topless.
There was a plane in the background or something. Hey,
that movie was uncomfortable.
Oh, son of a bitch!
There was a lot of homoerotic imagery in that film,
where all those ancient Roman movies came out. There was 300. There was Troy. There was Spartacus. Gladiator, Beowulf. It was like, oh my God, enough! Jesus Christ! Just stop. What was the one with the guy who plays Penguin in it? Not Meredith Burgess, the one. Penguin in
that was Troy.
Was that Troy?
Colin Farrell.
Yeah, Colin Farrell.
I think he was in Troy.
Oh, Angelina Jolie was in that one then.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just Brad Pitt. Okay, maybe.
Well, right. Eric Bana was in Troy.
You would know. PMR knows his topless movies with Angelina Jolie.
Back in the 2000s, she was.
Yeah, I mean, she's an aging actress.
Oh no, he was in Alexander. It was Alexander.
Alexander.
Yeah, there we go. Another one of those movies. So there you go.
Yeah.
That was the one with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Who we haven't really seen a whole lot of in movies recently as she's gotten older.
Yeah, she's rich. She knows to go away.
Well, anyway, let's
go. It's a good segue. Yeah, why do you think that is that we haven't seen Angelina Jolie in films as much recently, PMR?
She just knows when it's time to just take a bow.
Okay.
All right, gracefully. All right, let's go to the TV set. All right, after a lengthy news segment, there was a lot of controversy, maybe even more controversy with She-Hulk. This is Marvel's first, maybe intentional foray into a little bit of a sitcom-y type look and feel to the TV shows.
Very little.
I'm gonna let Brian tear it up because he's been, he's
been chomping at the bit.
Oh yeah, man, he just wants me to go at it.
He loves Tatiana Maslany, but he hates the TV show.
Never gave this a chance.
They're heavy on the situation and light on the comedy.
Yeah, but it's not trying to be a pure sitcom.
more of a dramedy.
Yeah, it's not trying to be a pure sitcom. I would say it's
more of a dramedy. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
let's get into it. So She-Hulk on Disney Plus premiered last week. And it's the story of Bruce Banner's cousin who turns into a Hulk. And I maybe I'm siding with PMR on this one. I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was, I'm not saying it was good, Brian, but I'm saying that I enjoyed it. And I think the main reason I enjoyed it is because we got to see She-Hulk within, I think, like 5 minutes. We didn't have to go through 3 episodes of a backstory or anything like that.
That's a good point.
And it was sort of like, boom, here you go. And, the Banner and the Hulk and She-Hulk interactions was a little bit goofy and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't really bother me too much.
Yeah, I mean, it was cringy, like a lot of the dialogue. They didn't make you wait for it, so I mean, I guess that's something where, but at the same time. At the same time, they came out right before. I think they were trying to meter like expectations. Like a day or two before the show dropped, they posted that Jennifer Walters scenes were added back, or the script was written with lots of Jennifer Walters scenes so that they could save on the CGI budget. It's like that was a big right out of the gate. Right.
But it didn't seem like it was heavy. I mean, it seemed like it
I was gonna say,
had a lot of shield. At least
it.
this episode.
Yeah. Right. That's the kicker. Yeah. This episode.
Yeah.
Right. What happens? I mean, do we not see her Hulk out again until the final episode?
Yeah, maybe. You're right. Yeah.
So.
But you know what? They could have saved the budget and just had Mark Ruffalo there instead of Hulk. But maybe it would have been more expensive to actually have him on set rather than just do a voiceover or whatever. I don't know. But he was in Hulk form the entire time, just about.
Yeah, just about. The thing is, though, like I guess because they've had his CGI emulated and worked on for years and years and years,
they have him captured.
Essentially, they've got the capture there. It's basically he's put on the motion suit, but you could see a stark difference in his CGI and hers.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like she looked flat. I told PMR this. She looked like a Roger Rabbit character, and he looked like an actual rendered character. He looked approximately the same way as he does in the movies. She did not. She looked completely flat, which was, a concern people had when they saw the trailer. So if they said the CGI was improved, it wasn't much, right? It wasn't much. Let's see. The chemistry, to me, the chemistry was pretty forced.
Yeah.
Like the jokes didn't land. The fourth wall stuff did not land at all. She did it like in the first 2 minutes of the show, and it was just ugh. And I told this was the other thing I said. Like to your point, Brad. I mean, it's an easy character. It's a promising sort of premise that has already worked as Harvey Birdman, right? She's a great actress. I've loved her in everything she's in. It's just this show. It's par for this TV show, Disney Plus course. It's just lackluster. Even the end of the episode didn't make any goddamn sense.
No. When they had what's her name? Titan girl, whatever. Titania. I mean, yeah, that was sort of like you didn't need that in there, other than to have her Hulk out and hit her, and that was it. That was kind of the end. But.
Well, and the whole episode, she said she wasn't going to be a Hulk. That wasn't going to be what defined her. She just wanted to go back to her normal life, and then, Titania Kool-Aid Mans it through the wall. We don't know why. Right. And then, stands there foreseasably for, what felt like 4 minutes.
Just waiting for something.
While Jennifer she didn't try to get out of that. She was breaking out of the courtroom adjacent, but she wasn't trying to escape. Maybe she just wanted a different judge. I don't know. But she broke through the wall and then stood there while Jennifer Walters has this conversation with her, her paralegal, and then decides to Hulk up and punch her. It was just bizarre. It was completely against what she said she was going to do the whole time in the episode. It was like, oh, now's my chance to Hulk out. You just said you didn't want to Hulk out. You didn't want to be a superhero. Here's my chance to be a superhero. That didn't make any sense. And then it was just the pacing of that whole last thing was just bizarre. Because she just stood there waiting to get punched.
Right. And all it was one punch, and that was pretty much it, right?
Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of credit that back to this is, much more lighthearted, and you aren't supposed to think too much about it, like the character development. You're supposed to just enjoy the hotness of She-Hulk.
If you were going to do the fourth wall, here's where they screwed up with their own premise.
Right.
If you were going to break the fourth wall, that was when you break the fourth wall.
Yeah, have her.
Because if she instead of talking to the paralegal, if she started talking to the audience, like Ferris Bueller, right, then it's like, oh, wait, time has stopped. This isn't really happening. Okay, time has started again. And that explains why Titania stood there for like an idiot for 90 seconds. So it's even by their own internal logic of the show, they screwed up.
Yeah.
So
speaking of which, did I read that the makers of Cobra Kai are going to do a Ferris Bueller TV show?
That would be awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All comes back to Cobra Kai.
But it's supposed to be Ferris Bueller. I mean, it's going to be just like Cobra Kai. It's going to be Ferris Bueller like today.
Oh.
So I guess him as a dad, that sort of thing. So.
Well, my thought on She-Hulk, I liked it. I knew you wouldn't like it, Brian, because it's a Marvel product. So.
Oh yeah, Brian.
That's not true.
That fucking Iron Man speech one more time.
I'm just saying that I thought the special effects, I thought they had improved a little bit, not a lot, but even from the last trailer that came out, I thought you could tell a little bit of a difference. Yeah, it's not perfect, of course. I don't know why they just didn't find a 7-foot tall model and paint her green, but
Lou Ferrigno,
Louise Ferrigno.
But no, I mean, I thought the CGI looked good. I liked the fourth wall break. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, she just did it at the beginning to tell the origin story, and it was just a brief little quick that. And then she did that one with the Hulk, and that was really brief. So I didn't think that was bad because it plays on the John Byrne comic book back in the 90s. I mean, that John Byrne made the She-Hulk the way she is today, and that was, some of the comedy was from that, and I thought it was, God, to me it seemed just like some of those Byrne books. Yeah. I mean, even down to that corny courtroom. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that probably, I will agree with you on that it would have been better for her to break the fourth wall there and talk to the audience about why she's going to turn into Hulk to face her, and then that would explain that a little bit better. But other than that, I thought this was a strong episode. I really liked the character, and I've never seen this actress before. Y'all know who she is, but I never have, and I thought she did great. And I don't really mind her being Jennifer Walters a little bit because the actress is so good. She's very charismatic, and she did such a good job that, I'm okay with her being on there a little bit at a time. So I thought it was a strong first episode. I don't know how it's going to go the rest of the time, but I've got a feeling it was fun. It's probably my second favorite Disney Plus show.
Wow.
I really liked it. I liked it a lot.
And She-Hulk.
Hawkeye and She-Hulk, it was just fun. I mean, it was just an enjoyable show. Like you said, Brad, you got right to the meat of it. You got right to, She-Hulk's in it the first 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, I was impressed by that.
Right,
they didn't tease you.
And then and it's not no dark, deep origin like all these other ones have been. It's like, it was simple. And that's how it was in the comic book. It was a simple origin, and you go right into the character. I mean, I thought it was a really good show. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. PMR gives it a thumbs up.
I do give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I will, unlike some of the others, Moon Knight and Marvel Zombie or What If or whatever.
You watch this show and how quick it was and fun to watch, and then you think about, God, if you really want to watch Moon Knight again, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, God, no one would want to see him in an Avenger movie.
You watch this and you're like, what?
I got him. It took me an hour, but we got him.
God.
I think it'll do just fine, and they might as well do this, make it more heavier into the sitcom-y type stuff, and have her lighthearted and all that. And when she does join the Avengers in a movie, she's almost the comic relief and everything. I'm all for it.
They did say today there was an article that said that it was written as a one and done. So just like it's designed to be a miniseries.
Yeah.
To springboard her into a movie, not her own movie, but into, like the movies.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, why not?
And that's what I think all these Disney Pluses are doing. I mean, they're just getting people familiar with these characters. So
you know what it's like. It's back in it's like not the comic adaptation, but the comic prequel before the movie.
Right.
When Batman Forever came out and they did the prequel comic with Mr. Freeze in it, right? It's that sort of thing. It's like, this does not matter.
Yeah.
If you want to read a little bit of extra stuff, You know, if you're really jazzed about the movie coming out, go to your comic shop and read this comic. But it doesn't mean much.
It doesn't matter.
So,
doesn't matter. All meaningless.
Let me ask you this: have you heard reports that Robert Pattinson wasn't coming back as Batman?
They said that the plan is for him to come back, but it'll be a while. That nothing's been done. It hasn't moved into pre-production. There's no script stuff. So the worry there is with all the shakeups at Warner Brothers Discovery that it may actually get killed, but only because they haven't made they haven't really made any progress on it. They were going to let it breathe and then come back to it. Well, now, who the hell knows what's going to happen before they get back to it. So.
I honestly think that that should be their ground floor of their new universe, is that Batman. I mean, Iron Man, when it first came out, was pretty much grounded in kind of realism, as much as realism could be. And then it just sprung from there. They could do the same thing with this Batman. I mean, it's a year two Batman, and just take it, and then all the absurdity happens where he meets all these other heroes. I mean, I honestly think that they could do that with this and build on this, but I don't know.
What do I know?
They'll probably just what do I know? They'll just probably wipe it out and give us another Batman.
I think that's what they should do. Just start it over again.
Why not?
Why not?
I would prefer to keep this Batman universe separate. So,
I mean, I get it, but I'm getting too old to start over again.
Handsy Grandpa's got to watch the movie.
That's what this all boils down to. Is he doesn't? Here's where he gets back. Yeah,
right.
He doesn't want them to recast Iron Man because he doesn't want to find out there's an Iron Man that he didn't get to see the whole story.
I don't want to see another Iron Man story.
You're not going to live that long. Don't worry about it.
If I gotta suffer through another Iron Man story, just take me now. I mean,
you're going to be dead before they come out with another one. Don't worry about it.
How are we going to start an Iron Man story?
He doesn't want, I can't stress this enough, he doesn't want them to start another Avengers universe that he isn't going to be alive to finish.
I've seen all the, I want to see another Iron Man, another Thor, another Captain America movie.
Give me Triathlon.
Give me Triathlon and Shang-Chi and Black Knight. Now that's a fucking Avengers movie.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's good stuff. All right.
I mean, you can just start over these characters so many times. I mean, my God. It gets old after a while.
I know. All right. Anything else on I say go watch She-Hulk.
Just go watch She-Hulk. You want to give ratings?
I'd give it
I don't know. I can't do it on one episode, but sure, I'll give it a 4.
2.
All right.
Jeez, Brian.
Give it a 2.
Brian, that's just sour grapes.
I'm just saying.
Now, rid of that chair that you're sitting in, Brian. Because
I know. It says Marvel on the back of it.
Yeah, it says Marvel on the back of it.
It says Iron Man below that. You son of a bitch.
I figured that.
You must have got that one.
As much as you fight for Iron Man,
It says Iron Man below that, you piece of shit. Did anybody watch The Sandman?
I think I watched the
Cobra
first.
Kai instead.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like Sandman, Cobra Kai.
Okay, Cobra Kai. I think I finished the first episode. I don't even know, to be honest with you. I tried it 3 times. And
yeah, it's there is something missing. Like it's enjoyable, but when you've read the books or even done like the audiobooks that they've started releasing, right? Because they've done 2 audio volumes, full cast audio. What you don't get is the narration, right? And almost like a lot of the narration is almost like you're reading prose. You miss out on that. I don't know. It's anybody that watches it. If you like it, go read the books because you'll get, even if you're reading the same story that just aired, there's a lot more depth to it just because of the narration. right, in the book. But it's casting. The guy they cast as Morpheus is like pretty spot on.
Okay.
Like they did make the switch with John Constantine and made it Joanna Constantine, right? Which, but it's the same character essentially.
So she's got a vagina instead of a penis.
Yep. But she can smoke from it. She can smoke out of it. John Constantine smokes. So it's good. There is the Sandman comic book was set in the DC universe. This is not set in the DC universe, but there's DC references all over the place.
All right.
And I think it's episode 5 is it was like the episode where they were in it's Dr. Destiny. So an old Justice League villain. It was kind of cool in the comic book. Dr. Destiny had this jewel where he could recreate time or change the reality. It was like the reality stone. But he had this jewel. Well, in the comic, it turned out that jewel was Sandman's. So you had Dr. Destiny appear, I think, for the first time in the 70s, and he had this jewel, and they kind of retconned it that the jewel belonged to Morpheus, and the reason why Dr. Destiny found it is because Morpheus had been trapped and didn't have access to his realm, so he didn't have his helm, he didn't have his sandbag, he didn't have his jewel. But so even though it's Dr. Destiny, they don't call him Dr. Destiny in the comic. There's no reference to the Justice League like there is in the actual issue, the comic book issue. But then you get further in the series and you see a kid that's dressed as the Golden Age Sandman, Wesley Dodds. Yeah. Not the gas mask, but the red and yellow costume. So I enjoyed it. Like there is a letdown, but it's just not quite as good as the comic was. But for somebody that's never been introduced to any of it,
I'll try to watch it.
It's great.
I'll try to watch it.
What's interesting is, I wish this PMR would be more likely to watch this than he would be to read the comic because it's not as dense. It's a lot more straightforward with like a lot of the plots. But
how long are each episode? Are they like
45 minutes?
Yeah, an hour.
They're about 45 minutes. So what's interesting though, there's lots of lore. Like you've seen Sandman's helmet, like Morpheus's helmet, right?
It looks cool.
Well, right, but they retconned Wesley Dobbs because the whole thing was Sandman was one of the Endless, and when he got captured, it had this effect on all of these, people because the Dream of the Endless was captured. So like you had like the sleeping sickness of the 1920s. There was actually a thing, and so they kind of tied that to when he was captured. But Wesley Dodds used to have dreams about Sandman, about Morpheus. Well, Morpheus's helmet, and that's why Sandman wore a
gas mask.
Gas mask. Because it kind of looks like Sandman's helmet, right? So there's lots of cool little stuff like that in the book, or in the book and the TV show. But yeah, it was enjoyable. What's interesting is it premiered, and then they went ahead and they had shot like a secret episode, and they released the secret episode this week.
Yeah.
So it was like a 2-part anthology. There was it was an animated one about cats. It was a backup story in one of the issues, and then they did the Calliope, the story about the muses. Which so you had an actual 2-part story that came after the series ended. They released a bonus episode, which is kind of cool.
So are they gonna Is this going to be continued? Is there going to be a season 2 of this mess, or is there going to?
We'll see.
Are they going to?
I mean, they haven't greenlit it yet, and it's coming from Warner Brothers. So,
so no.
It's.
I'm going to watch it. You know what? I may try to give it a shot.
Did anybody watch The Gray Man on Netflix?
I watched The Gray Man.
Okay.
Didn't we talk about this?
No.
I think Brian said he hated it.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Hey, I finished watching Prey.
Hey.
Yeah.
And
what'd you think?
It was a little boring. I liked the premise of it, but it kind of felt like it was, I don't know. Maybe it was the lack of buildings for the Predator to blow up or something like that, or I don't know. But it was kind of like, just not very exciting to me.
You know, it was by the director of Cloverfield, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there's a little bit of that whole guerrilla filmmaking to it too.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm sure it was filmed on a shoestring budget in the woods because of COVID.
Right. No, I like the concept of it, but I just was sort of like, I guess I'm really supposed to care about this female warrior and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't. To quote a Brianism, there was really no stakes here because you knew that she was going to live and all this kind of stuff, and she would be the hero of the Save the Tribe. So you kind of understood what was going to happen from the beginning. So therefore, it was, I don't know. I thought it was
that's what I said. That's what I said last week. Was it's a Predator movie. Yeah. It's the plot of every Predator movie. The interesting part about this is the dynamic of the tribe and her and that sort of thing.
Right.
Tamar?
No, I've never been a big fan of Predator. So
you would not like it, I don't think.
Predator, Aliens. I could never get into either one.
It's no Black Knight.
He's no Black Knight character.
No, it's no Black Knight.
All right. We kind of went to the what you're looking at, but should we go over to what you're looking at?
Sure.
See what everybody. I want to know what PMR is looking at nowadays. What you looking at? PMR, what you looking at?
Cobra Kai season 2.
Oh, God. I fucking deserved that one. I deserved it.
I'm telling you, y'all, when Carrie Underwood sung that cover of The Moment of Truth.
Yeah, you told everybody to leave the room.
That was not a dry eye in the house.
No, what I am looking for a bunch of different reasons.
Gangy was a blubbering heap.
What I'm trying to watch, and I've watched 2 episodes, and I cannot get through this thing. It's called the Terminal List with Chris Pratt.
Oh, everybody's making fun of that one.
Good Lord, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish it.
Oh, poor Chris Pratt. I mean, he has fallen quite a bit, hasn't he?
It's just cancel culture is really just trying to.
The cancel culture is why he picked this TV show?
Well, I don't know about that, but everything else. But no, this show just sucked. I mean, so far, I just cannot finish it.
Okay.
So I don't know whatever.
There's a little bit of Nick Cage. There's a little bit of Nick Cage. Logic being used with the projects he's accepting.
Yeah.
He's going to be Garfield and Mario.
Right. Why not?
Yeah. If they're going to pay you, why not? Might as well get the money before you get canceled.
Speaking of Nick Cage, I watched Pig.
I've not seen it yet.
It was somewhat enjoyable. He's like this hobo-looking guy who lives out. Nick Cage lives out in the wilderness, and he has a truffle-sniffing pig that gets kidnapped.
It's John Wick with pigs and hillbillies.
You'd think it is, but he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't go John Wick on anybody. You think that he would, start throwing knives or whatever type, chef stuff. No, maybe that's why I was a little bit let down. But it went into some pretty ridiculous territory, but it wasn't bloody or anything like that.
Did you watch the new movie? The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
No,
you haven't watched it yet.
No, it's
pretty enjoyable. It seems it reminds me of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels for some reason. But it's
what is this pig on? I mean, what is it?
Peacock now, isn't it?
It may be. I watched it on Canopy. But I want to watch the Black Mask or whatever is on Peacock now.
What the fuck is Canopy?
Oh yeah, Black Phone.
Black Phone. Yeah. Canopy, I'm a fan of. It has a lot of art house movies, PMR. And with your library card, you can get 10 viewings. I'm pressing the library card again. They have you get access to a shit ton of the great courses, like 20 hours talking about astronomy for 20 hours. This is good shit, PMR.
Cross stitch.
This is why I don't have time to be watching the unbearable breaking being of Nick Cage.
Macrame.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Ceramic.
The art of pasta sculpting.
You know, we all have our hobbies, Brian, and we all have feelings.
sorry.
We all have hobbies and we all have feelings, Brian. All right, well, Brian, other than Cobra Kai, what are you looking at nowadays?
We had the season finale of For All Mankind. PMR?
Oh,
God.
Yes, I forgot about that. I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest with you.
I was too.
I think my wife was too.
Did she get to the end of season 3?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed a lot more soap opera-y than any of the other seasons have been. It was like, this seemed like the finale of, Dynasty.
Yes, it did. Yeah, it really did. You're right.
And a Dynasty season 6. It was, you had, an explosion, somebody died, there's another time jump, but the time jump didn't show any of the space stuff. It just showed what one of the characters was doing like 5 years later. So it wasn't, I don't know. It was,
I think the only thing, if you kind of know history a little bit, what they kind of changed or what they're trying to say, but it's just like no one really gives a shit, is because of the space program started spending more money to go to Mars, and it was the Mars thing. Those people, instead of being mad at the United States for whatever, back in 1996, I think it was 96, or was it 95?
The Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of the Oklahoma bombing, they bombed NASA. And did that. So I think that was supposed to be the big change up for that. But it was real disappointing. And it just showed that poor Gordo's kids are a bunch of douchebags, because both kids are the cause of, you got one on the Mars who's the cause of all those people dying, and then you got the other one on Earth, which is the cause of all these other people dying. So he really raised some bad kids.
Or didn't raise.
No.
So
yeah, it was disappointing. I didn't like it, the ending at all. So
yeah, I mean, it was all of the shocking revelations were on Earth, and it's like, what? So I guess what you're going to figure out is, because of what happened on Mars and them sending, what's her name? What's Ed's daughter's name?
Oh shit, I don't know, but I know who you're talking about.
But because she was pregnant and they sent her back, they used all the fuel to send her back, and there wasn't enough fuel for the weight and everything. So they stayed on Mars for all of them agreed to stay there for another year or year and a half to build enough fuel to come for the trip home. And so the government's looking to shut down the NASA Mars program. Now you've got these astronauts on Mars, so that'll be what continues. They're not going to leave them stranded
but the thing is,
on the planet.
Because NASA was destroyed, so they're going to have to rebuild, and I mean they're pretty much kind of showed that they were cut off.
They're going to privatize, so that's what's going to happen. Is space is now going to become privatized, and Helios or whoever is going to, that's where it's going to be. Is now it's no longer as much NASA driven as it will be, corporate sector delving out into space. That's what next season will be. But yeah, it was where season 1 ended with, that giant super rocket launching and it was Apollo 75. And then season 2 ended with the whole thing where it jumped to 96 and you saw somebody on Mars.
Right.
Now it's like the jump this year was we find out that somebody defected to Russia. And it's like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, what's going on, in space? So, and then
it's not only defected, it's like she lived. She's because they think she's dead. So she survived and she's kind of in hiding and probably changed her identity and everything. So, and it jumped to 2003, I think it was.
Yeah. So it wasn't as big a time jump either. Right. I mean, so the other seasons, I think last season it jumped from 82 to 96. This season they only jumped from 96 until 2003. So
yeah, I was disappointed. I hope this ain't a jump the shark moment. I hope it gets back on track a little bit.
I think it will. I think they thought that, like you said, the Oklahoma City bombing, this would be a parallel. So there's still a bombing, but it's the Oklahoma City instead of this. It's NASA. People find that interesting. Well, that would have been interesting if it was episode 7.
Right.
And then episode 10 was them trying to now without having, mission control. Now, how are they going to get what's her face off Mars? That would have been, it's just weird making this the finale. Like if they back this up a couple episodes, then it's interesting, but then you still going to end the season in space, and they didn't end in space, which is just, I don't know.
Well, what I think another thing was kind of stupid is the whole how it occurred, because she was like, she could have easily went to NASA security and said, okay, these guys are up to no good, and they could have surrounded them before they even detonated the bomb. I mean, it was like, but no, she just, the security guy is literally standing right there. And she didn't do that. It was just dumb. It just was like,
she said something to him, but it's like she's telling one guy, And he, essentially, I mean, he wasn't building. They didn't even let this security guard in the building. He was more of a parking attendant than anything.
Right. I mean, you got to know that it's NASA. They're going to have all kinds of security around there. And it was after she had rescued what's-his-face from the back of the truck. So it was like, she should have known when she called that phone and that guy answered and he flipped it that, oh, shit, something's wrong. I don't know those guys. Let me go get security. It just played out stupid. It played out really, really dumb. So that made it even worse. It was like, oh, this is kind of stupid. So, and then they killed off Molly, which pissed me off. So, that sucked.
You do find out Molly died. Yeah.
Which sucked because, why would they let a blind lady just keep going back in the building rescuing people? I mean, come on, really?
No, she didn't. No. She died that was in 2003. That was a news article from 2003. She didn't die because of the bombing. She just died of natural causes.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Go back and look at it. It was just an article that she had passed and they named that. They had named it after her.
I thought they insinuated in the article some way that they named something after her because she died in that bombing because she was going back in.
Okay. No, I took it completely differently. I don't think they would have alluded to it. I thought she was going to die when she was walking past, there was that power cord that was dangling, sparking.
I know, that would have been great.
The guy looked back at her.
Right.
He didn't bother to tell her to watch out. I mean, she is blind. But, there's a live wire. She's walking past, and he's just like, thanks for saving me. And then just walks out. That was a little odd, but yeah, if you look, I'm pretty sure it was basically just saying she had passed. And, she's going to have, the whole thing is she took that mega dose of radiation on the moon in season 2. That's why she went blind. So I just assumed it was cancer finally got her, but it didn't say that she died, in the bombing or the aftermath of the bombing. So
I have to go rewatch that part. It's still a good show. I still enjoy the show. I just and I enjoyed this season. The season finale just was a little off, just a little off-putting.
And the big death was the person that was the most obnoxious person anyway. So it was like I didn't have any emotion towards it. So
and I hate it. And I say this, I feel like they killed her without ending that arc with
Helios and Dev.
Well, him, that, and the fact that she's sleeping with, she slept with, what's his face up on the kid. So.
Yeah, they'll never come back to that because he almost told Ed, and Ed was like he didn't want to know.
Right. But, I mean, it just feels like that's still kind of out there. So, but, oh, well, I mean, it's just kind of ended it. So it's just kind of weird on all that. I mean, and like you just said, and I didn't really think about it like that, but yeah, you're right. It seemed like the first season, second season, they kind of ended on I wouldn't say a high note, but it was concluded. So you saw like the funerals on the second season. So it was like, this was the end right here. This kind of ends in a cliffhanger and all sorts of who lived, who died, what's going on. It was kind of, things were just kind of up in the air with it. So I would have liked a better ending. So still a good show. Still would highly recommend it to anybody, and still do, who hasn't seen it. Probably one of the best shows on TV.
Wow.
So.
All right.
That was good.
Brad, did you watch House of Dragons? Were you one of the ones that helped HBO Max crash Sunday night?
It was on.
All right.
I kind of watched. I watched it. I watched it for the sex. I stayed for the birth scene.
The dragons.
Yeah, I mean, I never really got into Game of Thrones too much. Again, my wife she watched it up until like the last couple of seasons. So I kind of halfway watched it on and off, but I never really got into it. So I watched it just to see what all the hubbub was about. I heard about it, and have no feelings about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would appreciate the fact that it didn't take a full season to set up all the factions.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I mean, in this, the last season it was, or the last series it was, the Baratheons and Robert Baratheon gets killed, and you find out that Cersei's sleeping with what's his name? Her brother.
Right.
And so it took a whole season to kind of set up like the struggle and the fight for the seat. This immediately
in front of you.
Yeah. In the first episode, you already know what the power struggle is going to be, so it's a faster start there. I do feel like this is a little bit of some of the casting is not great. Like the guy they cast as the current king, like that dude looks. I don't know. He looks like he'd be better off doing a dinner theater version of Game of Thrones than being cast as one of the leads of
this.
I
just can't get over Matt Smith. I can't see him as anything but the Doctor. But
yeah, that's true too. Yeah, and it makes you creepy. It makes you feel creepy when he's boning some prostitute.
Yeah, he had some bent over, and you're like, Doctor, what about Clara?
Please stop doing that. It is odd. Although, and he's, Jamie Lannister was Cersei. I think they're wanting you to make the connection that he's kind of like an amalgam of Jamie and Tyrion, but at least starting out, he's not a bad person.
Yeah.
Right. He's not yet. So. Who knows where it'll? I mean, that's probably not where he'll end, right? Because Tyrion wasn't a good person to start with, and he ended up, that his arc was that he was in the end.
He was a hero.
So, I mean, it was entertaining, quicker start. It's almost like Game of Thrones light though so far. Yeah. Like it's,
I can see
we'll see. They did say that George R.R. Martin, who still hasn't written. Winds of Winter. So there's 2 books left. There's Winds of Winter and A Song of Summer, right? And so, and it's been 10 years since he wrote the last book.
Wow.
10 years and a full TV show since he wrote the last book. But his intention was for the show on HBO to go 10 years.
Right.
And so, and I guess when Benioff and the other guy decided to move on, that's why they wrapped it in one season. But his intention was for it to go 10 seasons anyway, and it only went 7. But we're never going to get the end of that freaking story.
Nah.
He's got 2 books to write. It's been 10 years and he hadn't finished the second to the last one. He's got a whole other one after that.
And he's old.
He's rich and he don't give a shit anymore. Wow. So, it's like,
Just playing grab ass at the conventions.
Yeah,
Am I right?
That's all he's going to do. Absolutely.
So,
all right.
Until he gets canceled.
Until it gets canceled. Here you go. All right.
What's the old saying that was in The Dark Knight?
Yeah, you live
long enough. You either die the hero or live long enough to be the villain.
Yep.
There you go.
That's the way it is.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Gary Busey's learning that right now.
That's kind of like, it's a little bit kind of like parenthood, You either die the hero or live long enough to be the villain.
Yep.
Yeah, amen to that.
So,
all right. So what do we got coming up here? Anything?
Well, can I give one little shout out?
One little
to a listener? A comic book recommendation.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. This guy, Tom King, might be a listener.
Doubtful.
Tom King.
Doubtful.
We just lost him. PMR hates
Tom,
him.
I'm sorry.
What a hack.
What a hack.
Tom King. Jesus Christ.
I hope he wasn't. I was hoping he did subscribe. Now I hope he does.
Tom King has feelings too.
Didn't he write that shitty Vision series that everybody fucking geeked out over? I mean,
geeked out. Come on, Flash, them dukes.
So what has Tom King done?
What about Tom King? What has he hacked out lately?
It's DC is doing a line of one shots called Batman One More Day, and so they're doing the Riddler, Bane, Joker, Catwoman, but it's a single prestige format book.
Right.
The first one's Riddler.
Okay. Everybody
and it reads kind of like Killing Joke, but for the Riddler, right? And it even references the Killing Joke.
He's the one who set it all up.
Right. Did you read this, Brett?
Oh, God, no. I saw it on Reddit.
Okay. Yeah, so he even references, he's talking to Gordon, and he's like, how's your daughter? And he goes, did you ever wonder why, Joker came up with such a meticulous plan? And he goes, because I gave it to him. I created that plan and got bored with it and just gave it to the Joker. But basically, the Killing Joke was Riddler's plan to begin with. Like that's the what they're saying. Riddler basically it ends ambiguously, just like Killing Joke as well. Killing Joke. A lot of people read it as Batman went nuts. A lot of people read it as Batman killed Joker. Well, that's kind of the same sort of. It poses a similar question at the end of this. But Riddler essentially, he gets tired of the game, and basically what he says is, the reason he tells riddles is so he can play with Batman. But he has these plans, and he has to dumb them down for Batman. And that's why he leaves clues, because if he just did his plan, Batman would have no shot.
Wow. Okay.
And so it reads kind of like when you get to the end, so it's a little bit origin story, kind of like Killing Joke, where it's, Joker and the comedian and all that stuff, right? It's a little bit Killing Joke there. It's because you see him as a teenager and kind of some of his motivations. You get basically he gets Batman in checkmate, right? Where Batman effectively has no other choice but to, or at least you're led to believe, has no other choice but to kill him.
Okay.
So, yeah, Batman One More Day.
All right. Check it out.
The Riddler.
You may change your opinion of him, of Tom King, PMR.
I may. It could be. It could happen. Who draws the book?
It's
Mitch Gerard.
Painted.
Which, he's good.
Yeah.
This is the team that did the Mr. Miracle that me and Alex like so much.
I may even give it a shot. I may even give this a shot.
All right, very good. Look at
Not
that.
a big
Tom
King fan, but
Yeah, they're doing Mr. Freeze, Two-Face, Penguin. The Riddler's already out. I know they're doing Bane.
He's doing all these? No,
it's going to be different creators on each one, I believe. But yeah,
why is it called One More Day or
One Bad Day?
One Bad Day?
Yeah, Batman One Bad Day. So each of these are like, they focus on, Batman's in it, but they focus predominantly on the villain, and it's basically giving the villains props. It's kind of like redefining the rogues gallery for like the future. So it's very good.
All right.
Enjoyed the hell out of it.
Well, check it out.
So
yeah, I wouldn't mind looking at it, reading it. Sounds interesting. You sold me. You sold me on it.
Well, there you go. That's all I was trying to do.
Yeah, there you go. Couldn't be any worse than that Vision book. Good Lord.
Let's see. I finally got him up. Yeah, Bane, Clayface has got one. Mr. Freeze, Penguin, Two-Face, and Riddler. So.
All right, very good. So what do we got coming up? Any movies, PMR, that you're aware of?
Actually, I was going to talk to you about this, Brad. I got me and you tickets to go see Clerks 3 from Fandango because it was one of those, Phantom releases?
Right.
And then like a week later, they sent me an email saying it got canceled.
Okay. Because they widened the release.
No, so I contacted them just to make sure. Hey, are y'all still charging me? What the hell, y'all? Why'd y'all cancel this? Because I went on the site and the movie theater still shows that you can order it, and they're like, no, it's the movie theater canceled that date, so I've got to find another one. So, but so Clerks 3 is coming out in September, but we just got to figure out,
interesting,
where we can see it at.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I'm for one, I'm looking forward to Clerks 3.
It's
Brian, do you know anything coming out?
Yeah, I'm looking. Not a lot.
Clerks 3 is it?
Yeah,
Cobra Kai 5, season 5.
For TV wise, we've got Cobra Kai. We've got Lord of the Rings is coming out in the next few weeks on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I had enough of those movies.
I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan. I've watched the movies. I watched them in the theater, and I got the DVDs, but I don't think I could suffer through all that shit again. Oof.
Well, this is based on the Silmarillion.
He knows. He knows.
Oh, I know.
It's not a remake of the movies.
That doesn't make it any better.
Enough.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying.
It's got those fucking hobbits in there. That's all.
Does
and elves and dwarves.
Yeah,
it doesn't help.
Yeah, it's just no. Movie-wise, I don't know. Other than Clerks 3, I don't really know. We got Black Panther, in November?
Mm-hmm.
Or Wakanda Forever. Disney Plus, does it have any other shows nothing Disney Plus wise, so which is weird. No, Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. Yeah, that's December, so I think that's pretty much it on that. So
yeah, we can take a hiatus, guys.
All right, sounds good.
PMR doesn't want to talk about Lord of the Rings.
That would be a blessing in disguise.
Seems like we just got one episode of Cobra Kai that we'll need to do in about 3 weeks, and then we can call it off until we can shut her down until 2023.
We got news to report.
Well, that's true. We do have news to report. You're right.
Returning in 2023. I mean, we may need to dust off the old, streaming wheel.
Well, you do streaming wheel.
Oh, the streaming. I like the streaming.
Has anybody seen the this movie? I just read it on called The Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds. And
yeah, I saw it.
We reviewed it on the show.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did that already. Yeah.
What was our review on it?
Oh, Brian and I saw it. It was a good kids movie.
It's no Cobra Kai season 4.
Oh God, no! Okay. Hell no!
No.
Okay. Well, is it worth a watch?
No, not unless you're going to watch it with your 12-year-old kid.
Well, that ship has passed. So.
All right.
No. Or a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, if you want to pick up a 12-year-old kid.
I'm not Gary Busey.
All right. Well,
doesn't have to be your 12-year-old kid, I don't guess. I mean, technically.
Well, PMR loves going to the movies, but not by himself. I don't really like to see.
I enjoy going to the movies by myself, especially like if it's like a matinee on a federal holiday or something.
When you're supposed to be working.
You're supposed to be working.
I do not.
Or hell, if it's not a federal holiday.
I do not eat by myself out in public, and I don't go to the movie unless it's a coffee shop. I don't mind getting coffee.
Why?
I just don't like eating by myself. I don't like out to eat by myself, and I don't like to go to the movies by myself.
Yeah, I used to remember getting the you want to go to Golden Corral calls.
Yeah,
I got a hankering to
go, but couldn't go by himself.
No, well, I don't want to go. I mean, that's a new low. Going to the Golden Corral, going to a buffet by yourself. That
is pretty.
That's different. That's different than just going
to
pizza place.
Just gonna get Golden Corral by myself and go play a little Russian roulette in the car.
Everybody loves Golden Corral, but no one wants to admit they love Golden Corral. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem. That's the biggest problem.
That's the problem with Golden Corral. Everybody loves it, but nobody wants to admit it.
Oh, goddamn
That's
Biden.
the truth.
Golden Corral is the Crocs of fine dining.
Thanks a lot, Biden.
Hey, Crocs are comfortable. Right?
Crocs are comfy.
They're comfortable. You know what? I would never wear them out in public, but Alex had a pair, and he'd leave them.
I would love to see. I would love to see Podman Ron go out by himself wearing Crocs to a movie, at the studio movie grill, eating by himself at a movie wearing Crocs.
I want to see it. I would like to see PMR putting on his sweats, so he's got a little extra room at the corral, and then wandering in there in his Crocs.
When I retire, that'll be me.
Just a few more months. That'll be PMR.
And then I can pat the waitress on the ass and get a complaint.
Yeah. More sweet tea, hon.
More sweet tea, honey.
So,
is that creepy guy again?
All right. Well, hey, I'm looking forward to rewatching Cobra Kai season 4. I think that's what
I would recommend. Right now. If there's one thing that y'all need to do before season 5 is to watch season 4.
I don't think that's happening.
There you go. But until next time.
Save it for the podcast.
I'm serious. You guys really need to watch season 4.
Jesus
Get prepared.
I mean, we know what the name of this episode needs to be. Cobra Kai season 4 redo.
The best, man.